evidence show that your police officers weaponized those children against Mostafa before they put them in a forensic interview. Where is the communication? Now, that's a problem when she says, I'm not aware of any communication. The kids were not weaponized.
Well,
evidence showed that you've been updated.
You're looking at a document.
You're looking at the document.
You're looking at the document. The fact that this meeting took place is a problem.
She lied.
The material of this meeting is also a bigger problem because what was said, this is an alleged witness. This is exculpatory evidence. What did this witness state on March 15th? How are we supposed to get it? How is the defense supposed to get it? By law, they're entitled to it. How are they going to get it? If they're having private meetings left and right, if they're having private conversations like Davis, like Drum calling Kylie, Romero talking to the children prior to them, how are you supposed to get this material information without getting the communication of these officers and the prosecutors?
Well,
the only way is to get their communication.
Well, when Brad Haywood puts in the Brady motion and asks for the communication of the prosecutor, Judge Carol Weimer tells the prosecutor, I need you to release the communication and the body cams that are missing to the defense. But I'm not going to release your communications. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that you're going to trust this prosecutor that just lied to you in court? You should have seen after court. She goes to the captain for internal affairs, who was sitting right behind her, and she's laughing with him, telling him there is nothing to release. I've already given the defense everything.
She's basically confirming to the police that I'm not releasing anything without your authorization.
And the judge is confirming to the prosecutor and the police, you're protected. They think this community is stupid. You want to talk about Judge Carol Weimer? Is he impartial in the Mostafa Alghazari case? Well, I can't not help to jump to the conclusion that Judge Carol Weimer is in on it. Why block the communication of the prosecutor when the defense is telling you just approved the Brady motion? Why block her communication when evidence show that this case, there's a bias in it? Specifically, Brady versus Maryland entitles Brad Haywood to the communication.
I watched your podcast from Monday.
Yeah.
And I noticed that you were honing in on this narrative that Casey Fines was on the scene and he's tampering with witnesses.
That's right. You're talking about Exhibit 4.
Exhibit 4.
Casey Fines, as soon as he gets on scene, he tells the main investigator, Robert Drum, that Mostafa is on drugs. He puts the title on Mostafa, even though Mustafa's toxicology show no drugs, no alcohol. But he puts that title on Mostafa, steering the investigation with a bias.
So you're showing that the officer, Casey Fines, is going around telling witnesses that we need you. We need you to get this guy off the streets. Okay, this guy just killed a mother and her child. He's a drug user. He's a known drug user. He's an abuser. And it's up to you, the witness, to get him off the street. We need you. And I noticed that in some of the clips where somebody says, I didn't see anything. And the officer tells him, can you just put down anything?
Nicki Minaj.
Can you put down anything? We just want anything. Anything that you can put down. Even if you didn't see it, we just want something down. Okay? Now, did they want these witnesses' information so that later they could be tampered with, so that they can tell these people, come on in, we're going to coach you on what to say during trial. This is what we need you to say. And I noticed that one of the witnesses, this really stood out to me. One of the witnesses says, the lady in the white SUV, she says, I think she said, I was in front of him and I heard brake skid before the large impact. That's what she says. She says, I heard brake skid before the impact.
You're talking about the lady with the green shirt.
She says, I didn't see it.
That lady with the green shirt?
Yeah, but I heard the brake skid before impact. Now, we know from the data recorder that the SUV never hit the brake. I mean, that's a fact. The SUV driver never hit the brake. So it couldn't be her. Those brake skids were not her. We know Mostafa was on the brake the entire time. Okay? So the thing that I find really interesting that stood out to me from that witness is that she stated in her written statement, she said, I did not notice any erratic driving prior, because I think she was ahead of him or behind him. I don't know.
I can pull up the video.
She was in his proximity.
Yeah.
But she specifically said that she did not notice any erratic driving. Now, Casey Fines is going around. He's going around with his body cam muted, talking to witnesses. Okay, I mean,
That's right. He mutes his body cam.
We know what he's telling people. We know for sure what he's telling people.
I mean, if he's telling the main investigator that Mostafa's on drugs, you don't think he's going around telling people? I mean, what he's going around telling people, a mother and her daughter
just died because of him, a drug user.
It's not up to me, the police officer, to get justice. It's up to you to get justice.
So she crosses that part out. She puts a line right through it. Why? Why did this witness change her statement on the scene? Why? And specifically to say there was no erratic driving. There was no erratic driving prior to the accident.
Yeah.
What is so significant about that? I mean, why would she change her statement unless an officer came up to her and said, hey, that's not really helpful. You know, what you're saying here is not really helpful to the narrative. Somebody like Casey Fines. Okay, because we know, by the way, we know that Officer Serdam on body cam talks to her initially. He makes first contact with her. And she tells him that there was no erratic driving. And then later, after Casey Fines makes contact with her, she's changing her statement. She says, you know, that last part about the erratic driving, I didn't see any, I don't want to say anything about that. And she crosses it out. You know, if you did not steal the file.
Absolutely.
If you did not steal the file,
absolutely, these
we would not know. We would not know that this witness changed her statement on the scene after police talked to her. She's going to change it in court for sure. If she's ever called to the stand, is she ever going to say anything about no erratic driving? Of course not, because Casey Fine told her that's not beneficial to the narrative. I mean, we're trying to get this guy off the street. You have
Officer Casey Fine going around to the bystander on the scene, telling them it's up to you to get justice. This guy that's in a coma, that's laying on the floor in front of his vehicle in a coma,
he's the reason.
He's the reason. A mother and her daughter lost their life. He's on drugs. He's telling the main investigator that, and then he mutes his body cam, and he's going around making contact with these bystanders.
Okay,
you don't think? I mean, the case gets sealed. You don't think they're going to walk these people, put them on the stand in front of the jury, and have them testify to whatever they want them to testify? Absolutely.
By the way, I'll say this, you know.
But now they can't because the body cam is released. Look, those body cams show each one of these people are saying, we didn't see the accident.
By the way, it's not a conspiracy anymore to say that Casey Fines is tampering with witnesses, because you actually have body cam from Robert Drum. You have body cam from Rob Davis, who are also talking to witnesses, or alleged witnesses in this case, like Glenn Ford, Tanisha Coleman.
I can't wait to play these body cams for you.
Elizabeth,
I have a list of
Elizabeth
body cams.
Lee, Amy Hodson, Kylie Clapp, the three children. Look, and I'm telling you, it's not a conspiracy when you have body cams where the officer is telling, this is the main investigator, Robert Drum, he's telling Elizabeth Lee, who called him to say, hey, I think I witnessed this accident a little bit. I heard it. I saw it with my peripheral view, whatever the case may be. And he's actively telling this woman that we are getting our ducks in a row before we pull the trigger on the driver, Mostafa. Okay? Now,
not only that,
in what world? Is it okay? By the way, in what world?
She asked this investigator. She tells him, "Is he on drugs? Is he drunk?" He tells her, "We're still checking off some boxes." What do you mean? You have the toxicology that shows no alcohol, no drugs, but you're telling her, "Hey, We're still checking off boxes. We don't know if he's on drugs.
Here's the thing, though.
Do you see what he's doing here?
Why is an investigator who's supposed to be interviewing witnesses to do what? I mean, why would an investigator interview a witness? To extract information. But to actively change the witness statement as you're talking to them, to steer the witness into saying something different than what they initially said, you're actively tampering with witnesses. Rob Davis tells Glenn Ford, hey, man, we need you. We need you to get this guy off the street. Just think of the optics. This is an officer telling a witness.
He's talking to the ex-boyfriend.
He's telling a witness. He's talking to a witness.
Do me a favor. Go over to Exhibit. I want to play that body cam.
So, yeah, before you play it, I just want to say, it's not just Casey Fines. It's Robert Drum. It's Rob Davis. It's Matthew Surdam. I mean, Matthew Surdam is interviewing the driver from the other vehicle, the Suburban driver, on the scene. And then halfway through, he just stops. He stops interviewing her because Casey Fines didn't get to her yet. And then what do we see later on? We see Rob Davis go to her hospital room at Centera, okay? And he's literally promising her shit under the table.
He's telling her, as long as you stick to your story, you have nothing to worry about.
What story, by the way? What story? He's telling her, as long as you stick to your story. What story? You came in to conduct an interview with the driver.
What if I tell you that Officer Josie on the scene got rid of a witness? She got rid of a witness. A witness that's telling her the SUV slammed into Mustafa's car.
I mean, I want to see this one. You told me about this one.